General Minister of Justice. Dear Executive Director, Directive to investigate allegations of illegal mining activities by named individuals. I write to direct your esteemed office to initiate investigations into suspected illegal mining activities being perpetrated by certain individuals within mining districts in the country. This directive is born out of growing public concern, corroborated by media reports and intelligence regarding the involvement of some citizens in unauthorized mining operations, generally called galamsey, that are in blatant contravention of the provisions of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by Act 995. These activities not only flout our mining regulations, but also gravely endanger our water bodies, forest covers, reserves, and local livelihoods. As your office is aware, His Excellency the President has consistently reiterated his government's firm commitment to eradicating illegal mining and restoring sanity to the natural resource governance regime in Ghana. In line with this national stance and pursuant to your mandate under Iyoko Act 2010-804, I'm directing your office to invite the following persons named in recent credible reports for interrogation, namely Mr. Yakubu Abanga and Mr. Joseph Yamin. Additionally, you are to investigate any other persons found to be complicit in these unlawful mining activities. The scope of this investigation should include the matters highlighted in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report on illegal mining. Furthermore, considering the regulatory oversight role of the Minerals Commission, you may invite the Chief Executive Officer of the Commission to assist in the investigations. I trust that Iyoko will treat this matter with the urgency and gravity it deserves in order to uphold the rule of law and ensure the integrity of our extractive governance framework. Yours in the service, Dr. Dominic Akutiringa Ayeni, is Member of Parliament, is also the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. This is leadership. In the past, if you ever spoke about galamsey, and yesterday I showed you the front page stories. In the past, if you ever spoke about galamsey, you will be told to bring evidence. If you ever spoke about galamsey in the past, you'll be told to go into the bush to bring the evidence yourself. In fact, in the past, when we spoke about galamsey, we had a clearing agent in the past. Nobody referred anything to anybody to go and investigate. Say, oh, they are not doing illegal mining, leave them alone. That Professor Frimpong Boateng report from back in the day, which was swept under the carpet for 2 years, until the good prof decided that he was going to speak up after the report got leaked through whatever means. Names were mentioned. In fact, some of those names were given a clean bill of health by the political party they belonged to go and contest to become members of parliament. The people decided otherwise. But they were given a clean bill of health. They went through vetting, internal processes, and they were given a clean bill of health to stand before the people. If Joseph Yamin and Abanga are being investigated today, and Joseph Yamin has been speaking, please put it up together. Shadrach, give me 2 minutes. Let's do this. He's been speaking. If Joseph Yamin, 6 grant me, if Joseph Yamin, let the story make sense. If Joseph Yamin has been out there, and then Abanga is out there, and the government is showing you a direction that even my own people, top party executive, can be invited and investigated, and if they are found culpable, they will be dealt with. Who born dog in Chairman to me's voice? Whoever you are, you will be brought. So you can clearly see that the president is trying to take the log out of his eyes before he moves to another person. And I'll be very interested in how Iyoko goes about this whole Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng report, the names that were mentioned in there. The allegations and counter-allegations, the insult and whatever. The regime is over. There's a new regime. There's a new sheriff in town. Mr. Yamin says, my attention has been drawn to a press release from the concerned small-scale miners in which they claim myself and the National Vice Chairman, Abanga, are behind what they claim illegal task force visiting their sites. I want to put on record that I have no hand in the said allegations being leveled against me. For the records, I am not part of any galamsey task force, neither have I been invited to even share ideas as to how to fight these illegal mining activities of some of these small-scale miners. If there's any task force parading around with my name, the said group is operating illegally and must be resisted from their operations. The work of the task force is strictly enforced by the state security and not party directives. For the records, I am not a miner, neither do I do mining nor own a concession. If anyone is impersonating me, that person or group of persons must be resisted or arrested. I urge the small-scale miners to leave me out of their issues and approach the right authorities in finding a lasting solution to their problems. For the records, again, I am not involved in any such operations. Please, when you get to Iyoko, you can tell Iyoko this. For me, I am happy that the president of the day and the attorney general acting on behalf of the president of the day has spoken to another appointee to say, these are our members anyway, but bring them in for questioning. Don't do clearing agents thing here. So that if you, on the other side, are also fingered and invited, let nobody go and sit in front of Iyoko and be demanding for the release of people when due process is being followed. Let nobody come and mention witch hunting, because Yamin could have mentioned witch hunting too, Abanga could have mentioned, but they kept quiet. And let Professor Frimpong Boateng speak his truth openly. Because in this country, we have had a situation where they say, oh, I'm Bob Bra. Those who are destroying our water bodies, those who are killing us, children are being born with mutations and all of forms of deformity. We are drinking mercury cyanide, and our cocoa stands a risk of being rejected on the global market, our food, everything else. They must be made to face the full rigors of law. They must be punished. Nobody must be spared. Nobody who is raping the state must be spared. And that is our sermon for this morning. Please call me 055 924 2717 and 055 691 0154. 055.
My line of work, a confident smile is everything.
I hope that you did enjoy not only the music from DSL, who is one of the great testimony about how an initiative, good programming for Media General, started off by TV3, of course, as Mentor still running on the annual calendar of regular reality show programming of TV3, and having a lot of alumni or people who have passed through as mates or participants over the years, DSL. You can get him on social media. And talking about social media, we're also well represented, TV3 Ghana, across social media. So go search for us. I see a number of you already on our stream. I'm saying happy birthday to you, a number of some great friends of ours. Messiama Takbo of the Osu Doku, and that's Shai Osudoku District Hospital. You celebrate your birthday today. You say today, if I don't give you a shout out, I'll be in trouble. But Messi, we have cash out. It goes with the short code *439# as many times as you can. Please be part of this. Today, I'm giving you a birthday gift, Messi Ama of the Shai Osudoku Government Hospital. Happy birthday to you. So, Messi and all your friends, choose option 2 as alongside all loyal viewers. Increase the number of tickets you have. Do as many times as you can. Become one of those lucky winners. Also, celebrated the birthday today, Chantel Ohime J. Chantel Ohime J is a wife of one of my best friends around. So, with the Ghana National Association of Teachers, I have Roland J. Roland is celebrating the wife's birthday. So, I love you so much, Chantel Ohima. I just love the name Chantel. Well, for all those who are watching us, we're grateful. As many times as you can, please make sure you cash out with us. And so I see a number of you on our stream. Please make sure you share the stream as well, because it is your comment or all those aggregation of the comments that ensures that we are able to have a great conversation. Share the stream as many times as you can. And please, let's have some great time. All right. I see already Yesuto there, Edna Boatema Ofori, and Obrimpong Kaba is there. Evans Ibn Samba says, I'm looking forward to Solo. I haven't introduced him yet. He's in the studio. And Kwesi says, Solo Nation. And Ejay Boating, he says, is Dr. Zato in the studio again today? Yes, he is. I'll introduce him to you. Samuel Ahinsa, good morning to you as well. And then Justice Amuzu, please, all of you, money, and the rest, share the stream. Let's have some great conversation. And today, we have a number of discussions to undertake. Foremostly, you would know that now government allowances for fuel, that is those carts, the fuel carts from Goel, scrapped, unless it's very essential. And so for some activities to be undertaken by a specific government official for some reasons, that you'll be giving some fuel to undertake that assignment. But so far, what do you make of it? Daniel Akpalio, for example, what do you make of this as well? Prince Nana York, Uncle Charles Thompson, Obrimpong Kaba, etc. But let me just introduce Dr. Zato. Dr. Zato, good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
Dr. Zato is with the Sisala East constituency as well. That's originally his main constituency. He's also a lecturer as well. And so I have the Deputy Minister of Communications nominated. So he's a designate, so to speak. He's a regular on the show. Mohammed Adam Suparu is here. He's also a Member of Parliament for Sisala West. How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you very much,
Great. This one, you have to pay us homage, Joe, because you've been appearing on stations, no post. As you came, you know.
I've been appearing on
stations, no post. Then you started coming here then. Okay, so then I have the president of the Common Sense family, my discovery of the year. Indeed, now we have no control of Solomon. He's also an entrepreneur
as a party. They came to power
in his own right. So Solomon also is here, is a regular. And good morning to you, Solo.
Good morning,
Wednesday is for him. I know many of you have been clamoring that he should join Dr. Zato on Saturdays to disrupt conversations, but let's see how it goes. The producers of the Key Points will have to decide that alongside Alfred and the team. Please share the stream. Let's have some great conversation. But Solo, before we go on to the main issue, I saw that you were commenting about President Kufuor, etc. But why? I mean, you're a former member of the MPP, even though you are now with a movement for change. Why are you so passionate about what he said?
Roland, I mean, he was the last person I was expecting to come out at this time because interestingly, he's one of the two people that endeared me to the MPP. But his life after leaving office really is nothing to write about.
But you can't say that about
No,
the
he
former
is the
president.
reason why the party has collapsed. He sat down unconcerned when Nana Akufo-Addo was destroying everything. When he spoke to him,
Destroy?
oh, he has destroyed everything. And always he put up that posture of the gentle giant.
Is he not?
Being gentle
Solomon
does
also?
not mean you will sit down for things to degenerate. I mean, Martin Niemöller, what did he say? That they came for the socialists. Nobody was in his aid. Then they went for the Jews. Nobody went into his aid. Then they came for it. Now, whom do you expect to speak for you? They went for Paul Afoko, someone that was legitimately voted for. Did you ever hear a statement from President Kufuor?
Maybe he was trying to be a statesman. What do you think?
What is statement when an illegality, a crime was being perpetrated by someone who has supported you all his life? You never spoke. You behaved as a gentle giant. Allow them to remove him with impunity.
Perhaps he didn't want to jeopardize the chances of.
Then
his
they
man.
went
That's-
for Kwabena Japan. He sat down, he did not speak.
But he's a great ally.
They
and supporter
went
of-
for Alan Chamanti, he kept quiet,
He's
he
an
did
ally
not
of
speak.
Alan Chamanti. He
He
supports
did
him.
not know, he has never supported him, make no mistake. That is one thing that has to be cleared. He has never supported Alan. Now they have gone for him, he says I should come to his aid. All those that could have come to your aid, they are all dead and gone. Nobody will come to your defense.
You will not come back to the MPP?
No, as for that one, it's a nonsense.
You never know. Tomorrow is pregnant. Anyway.
They should come join our political party that is upcoming.
Roland,
That's it.
can I say something?
No. I just wanted his initial comments. It is not
You
up
have
for
something to say
discussion.
about my comment.
Are you-
Yes.
On the MPP subject.
No, on what he just said.
About former president.
Yes.
Kufuor.
I think Solomon is being completely disingenuous.
No, it is
and
not.
I don't like the fact that you sit down here and you are trying to.
It was just
a
an
man
ide-
like
I saw-
Kufuor, you are
I-
just trying to say to say these bad things. It's not fair. MPP fed you, Solomon. MPP put food on your table. MPP put clothes on your clothes.
let me put it on record. Let me put it on record. Let me put it on record. I have never enjoyed one single from MPP.
Clearly, if you ask me, I think there are more questions to be asked with this particular directive. I just see it as populist. It's just public gimmick and a clear case of PR and settings. That's what I would say. If they really and actually want to be seen that they are biting the bullet and really scrapping this fuel allowance, I say two things: the fuel depot at the Castle Osu and the fuel depot at Jubilee House. Once you close down these two, then because these are the places that the government appointees go for the fuel. So nobody should come and play with our mind. I said close down this fuel depot. And then number two, how much were we spending on this fuel allowance? Once we get to know, then at the end of the year we can say that okay, we've made savings of 1 Ghana cedi or 10 billion cedis or 100 million cedis. But without that, they're just playing on our mind. And who is a political appointee? There must be definition. Every CEO, mind you, the CEOs have contracts also different from that of ministers. I've been a CEO before. Your entitlement includes fuel allowance. They don't take that fuel allowance or fuel coupons or fuel from Castle Osu or Jubilee. It is embedded in the organization's cost of running the machinery. So please, we've had enough settings. We need clarity on these matters.
We know that a number of policy measures had been taken, and even though this one has been taken, the previous government also undertook a number of actions just to make sure they save costs, so to speak. So we'll take you through what has been done so far by this government, and then also make reference to what has been done by the immediate past government as well. So it'll be on your screens as quickly as possible. And if we can, we'll go through, and you also get up to speed what's the latest. Already promises of cut down of ministers to 60 undertaken. No first-class travels, we're told, for government appointees. So far, we haven't seen that being flouted. Ban on DSTV satellite TV subscription at Jubilee House to be extended to all agencies of government across board, if need be. And then all travel by appointees require presidential approval and cancellation of the fuel allowance for the appointees, with exceptions of those who on emergency will need it. But let's see. All right, for those who are saying there'll be slaps, Phil Sell, there will not be any slaps at all. We're very decorous in our conversations. But Mr. Sukwaru, what do you make of this? There's because the previous government had also done the same, and we'll put that on the screen for you. So 50% cut on fuel coupon allocation for all government appointees as well, heads of government institutions, including SOEs, etc. And the government also decided to reduce salary for all cabinet ministers and heads of state enterprises by 30%, and that was from April 2022 to year's end. All right, so it's not like it's.
So, first of all, Roland, let me use your platform to say a very good morning to my co-panels, especially my brother, Dr. Zato, and my good friend, Solo here, and the good people of Sisala West, and also to use your platform to express my gratitude to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, for nominating me to be part of his, 16 ministers to steer the affairs of this country. I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to His Excellency the President for this great opportunity given me to contribute to the development of this country. And now back to the subject matter. Solo, since this particular letter came out, I've been listening to a lot of commentary, especially from the current opposition party, New Patriotic Party. The hypocrisy of our colleagues in the New Patriotic Party is very legendary.
How do you mean?
When I say the hypocrisy, isn't it hypocrisy that some years back, like 2022, you really said, as captured on the screen here, that government at the time said they were cutting government appointees' salary by 30%, just so to, enable government get more resources to fund some of the projects they were engaged in. And also we saw, same government at the time said that fuel coupon or fuel allowances given to appointees, 50%, they at the time had cut it down 50%. At that time, same people that are saying today is just a PR, something the NDC government is engaged. At the time their government was doing same, they didn't see anything bad about it. They didn't see it to be, hypocrisy. I mean, they didn't see it to be a PR government. But today, they are saying that something His Excellency the President stated before coming to office, that he's going to ensure that he runs a cost-efficient, government. He's going to ensure that ministers are reduced from the then previous government from 124 to 60 ministers. And today, as you can see for yourself, I'm happy I'm part of the last 4 badges that have just been appointed. He's the 60 ministers. And if you look at the trend of his appointment, majority of these appointees or the ministers are coming from Parliament. That in itself tells you that this is somebody who is into cutting costs. What that means is that as I sit here as a member of Parliament for Sisala West, I receive a member of Parliament salary. And so when I go to the ministry, when I'm given the nod to go to the Ministry of Communication today, it is left to me either to take the deputy minister's salary or to continue with my MP salary. And of course, I will choose to go with the MP salary simply because that one is guaranteed. I know I can be there for 4 years. But for the appointment, the person that appoints you can disappoint you. You don't have a number of days or number of months or number of years to say that for you, you are guaranteed the 4 years tenure.
It's at his discretion.
It's at his discretion, of course. And so when you have more MPs being appointed, at least about 90 to 95% of the cabinet ministers and all the, let me even say all the ministers, including the deputy ministers of state, about 90 to 95% of them are all members of Parliament. That in itself is even a cost reduction, venture that government has gone into. And so he says that government appointees, unlike in the past, the 4 allowances given to government appointees, he says that he's scrapping. And for me, I think it's a very beautiful idea that we must welcome and encourage the president to do more of, to take such policy so that we can be able to channel our limited resources to, projects that can really benefit the ordinary Ghanaians. For instance, when we talk about the allowance, the fuel allowance, I sit here as a member of parliament. I am equally an Article 71 office holder, regardless but some of the, some of the privileges given to some government appointees, MPs do not get that. For instance, no MP is given fuel allowance. We are not being provided fuel. Yet you haven't seen an MP come out to complain that he does not have fuel to move from his location to come to parliament, and to move from parliament to drive to your constituency.
So you are saying that there's already an example set.
Example set. And so if MPs can fund their fuel from, for instance, from here to Sisala West, you are going to travel about 15, 16 hours to my constituency. And so if I have to drive from here to Sisala West, I am not getting a liter of fuel from a government or even parliament to say that this is what I get by the end of the week or by the end of a month, or to say that I'm going to
all
buy
from your pocket.
All from the salary given to me as a member of parliament. Servicing my car every month, if I have to go and service the car, right? Don't forget, even MP's cars are loan, even though it's a subsidized loan, but you still pay. Part of the salary goes to fund that car. MPs are not complaining. And so if MPs can fund all these things, MPs can fuel to go to their constituencies to monitor, or to go to their constituencies to do engagement, to have, constant engagement with their constituent, and they are able to fuel from their salary. If a civil servant, Roland, who is working at the ministry, has to remove money from his salary to fund his TNT either from Dodawa or from Somanya or from somebody who lives in, I have friends who work Dowinya, wherever, even in Sawom, to come to ministry to work and still go back home.
Then you people should.
We the appointees must also bear our wonder. So
Sami was making a specific reference to, for example, where we have corporate organization, but public corporate organizations. So where there are SOEs, etc., where the entitlement is embedded in their emoluments or their earnings.
So you see,
or that one doesn't cover them.
It covers. So what he says, I've listened to the interview, and yesterday I was in Parliament. I think he's getting it wrong. When you say chief executives as part of their entitlement, where comes the entitlement? There are governing councils, and many of the state organizations either have their shareholders, they go for annual, exactly. And some of these things, many of these decisions are taken at this. So the gentleman, the number one gentleman of the land.
I ask you a specific question, and I'll relay the question again.
Which is?
How do we ensure that the SOEs that Sami is referring to are also captured in this, or are they captured or not?
They are captured once you are a government appointee. I sit here. I'm a board member on BOST. I have just been taken out, but I am a board member on BOST. And when that happened, I'm still part of their, the board members platform. They, as part of the benefit, including the current managing director, he also benefits from the 4 allocations. He kept it there, and he knows that once the communication is coming from president and he got his appointment from same office, you are entitled, or you are supposed to go by the directives. And so it covers all of them. So what I try to say here is that it is something that we must applaud the president for. It is a great initiative because he has done it. Don't forget, we used to celebrate Independence Day. We used to spend about 50 million Ghana cedis or more in just celebrating of Independence Day. His Excellency, the President, brought it down from 50 million to this year. We use only 1.5 million to
the one he did at the Jubilee loan.
Exactly. So what that means is that the money, about 13-point-something million that has been saved, that money we can use it to build about 5 or more chip compounds in some villages that will go a long way to save people's lives.
Okay.
Please
wrap up for me. Your time is up.
And so for them, when I see them trying to say that NDC is only engaged in PR, it is a PR something, it is not something that is feasible. He was citing an example of people drawing fuel from Jubilee House and the old castle. It doesn't add up to this. When they talk about government appointees, it is not only those sitting at the Flassa House or the Jubilee House. So those people who goes to draw fuel like Castle or even Jubilee House fuel filling station, these are appointees who are in Jubilee House. And the appointees, government appointees, it goes beyond Jubilee House. We're talking about including MMDCs. They are all government appointees. Don't forget, MMDC, who is receiving salary, is supposed to be given for allowance weekly. Anyway, even if he's going to visit his personal relative somewhere, no, it shouldn't be so. Government is basically telling us that if you are not going out for an official duty, for instance, as a minister, if you are not traveling to Northern Ghana, you are not going to Kumasi, you are not touring Greater Accra to monitor ongoing projects, you are not entitled to be given fuel. But once you are supposed to go and monitor projects at Kumasi, you are going to Takoradi, you are going to monitor projects even within Greater Accra. That is an official duty, and that is going to be part of the operational cost. And so, therefore, will be given to you. But it is not going to be like the normal weekly fuel allowances that people are giving, or coupons giving, or Gold card that every month they will put some amount of money in your Gold card. You go, and then it shouldn't be so. When you do that, I mean, the scarce resources that we're talking about that we must put it into judicial use, we will not be able to use it judicially so that the ordinary person in Sisala West can benefit from it, because day in, day out, our people are complaining about bad road networks. Government is owing huge sums of contractors, about 13 billion Ghana cedis. Contracted government is owing. And so we must find ways
Dr. Zato,
to, creating resources so that we should be able to channel it in a manner that you and I can benefit. And that is basically all President Mahama is asking us to do. And so what I ask from the New Patriotic Party is to support and actually applaud, because this is a very laudable idea.
Dr. Zato, you've been monitoring the conversations and what social media has degenerated into. Would you say that this is a policy that has been reacted to in a mixed way or overwhelmingly accepted? What's your own view?
Thank you very much. But before that, there was something that was said earlier that I need to seriously react to that.
Against you?
Yes, no, it's something that was said against the former president of the Republic of Ghana, Professor J. Ekufuor, by Mr. Solomon Wusu. I think, Mr. Solomon, you were not being fair to J. Ekufuor. J. Ekufuor, when he appointed Alan Chiramanteng as minister for this long time, you never attacked him. You were not being fair to him, and you were not being fair to the New Patriotic Party that you are running down. When they gave appointments to Alan Chiramanteng from 2017 to 2020, you didn't attack the New Patriotic Party. You didn't say they were bad. When Akufo-Addo appointed Alan Chiramanteng, you did not come out to say Akufo-Addo was a bad person. You didn't say that. When Alan Chiramanteng was enjoying the benefits of it, and you were enjoying with him, the MPP was best. The MPP were angels. The MPP was good. All of a sudden, Alan leaves the MPP, and the MPP is bad. That is not principle. You are not being principled on that. That means that when the MPP is there and they are given to your boss and you get to benefit from some, the MPP is good. That means that when the MPP is not given to your boss and you're not benefiting from some, the MPP is bad. That is not principle politics. That is stomach politics. And I think that we should eschew from that. You cannot sit here and be trying to run down the reputation of people just because they are not giving you to eat again. It's not fair. We shouldn't do that. And leadership, I don't sit here and insult leadership. I don't call names. When you call names and you insult leaders, it's just bad. Let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about the principles and stop degenerating into gutter politics. It's not nice. This policy of...
it's about the fuel allowances that have been scrapped, just to put it again.
This fuel allowances is inherently shambolic. And I don't see its effectiveness in whatever the government wants to do. Since the beginning of the year, we've been told that they have reduced ministers, and that the reduction of the ministers is supposed to lead to what? A cut down in government expenditure. As we sit here, nobody has told us how much has been saved. We don't know how much. You now have 50 ministers if you add the deputy ministers. How much has been saved, we don't know. But this is what I know. The Minister of Finance, there's a Minister of Finance and a Deputy Minister of Finance. There's also a Director of Finance or an Advisor of Finance at the Presidency. There's a Minister of Agric, a Deputy Minister of Agric. There's an Advisor on Agric at the Presidency. There's a Minister for Trade and a Deputy Minister of Trade. There's also somebody in the Presidency in charge of what? 24-hour economy. So the question, and these people, the benefits they get are almost equal to, even though the same as ministers or deputy ministers. So technically, there is no limit in the size of government if you look at the expenditure. That is why, so far, nobody has come out to say that because we have 50 ministers, this is how much you've saved. And unless or until we have that accountability, saying that you've saved just because you've done
are you saying that there is no savings made if the previous regime had 123 ministers and then by way of the appointment you have 60 ministers? I mean, just looking at it.
I'm saying that
because the previous government also had people appointed into positions to monitor its own policy initiatives. Whether it was NAPCO, we know that Dr. Anyas was operating from the presidency. There was initiatives, special initiatives. There were people who were in charge of that.
Napagatia was in charge.
So we have the presidential appointments that are made to drive the policy at the presidency. So on the face of it, again, let me just rephrase my question. Are you saying on the face of it, even if you've not yet been briefed by the finance minister on the numbers that have been saved so far, 123 and 60 ministers, no savings?
I'm saying I won't take this on his face. I want to see some numbers. I want to see some real figures. You say that, look, because we have 60 ministers, the cost of government emoluments, the cost of executive emoluments has reduced by this much. Now, when that happens, I will cheer for the government. I will cheer for it. Because politicians are noted for making outrageous claims. Politicians are noted for making outrageous promises, but they fail to deliver, or they under-deliver. So I wouldn't take it for its value unless and until I see some flesh, or some meat in the flesh. Show me, and very soon the minister will be going to the parliament for the mid-year budget. I want to see some figures. Let them put some figures that look.
So why don't you wait for the minister? And again, you haven't answered the question. I asked you a specific question.
Which is?
123, and then you subtract 60 ministers. Are you saying that by the appointment that have been made,
I'm saying the numbers,
there are no savings that have been made?
No, I've not seen that. And I'm also saying, I'm answering your question.
What do you have to see by way of the appointment?
No, the numbers, of course, there are less numbers now if you just look at.
So you admit that there are less numbers?
But that was never up for discussion. There are less numbers. You appointed this, and that was.
So if you have less numbers, it means less expenditure.
No, that's the point I'm making. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Just because we have five.
You have 123 ministers.
Yes.
The expenses and the operational costs in running their ministries and they themselves by way of their emoluments and wages against 60, even 2 or 3 years to be approved.
Yes.
Let's say 57 or 56 or whatever it is. You are saying that even by that, there's no savings made.
No, you cannot necessarily then conclude a savings because by 120.
Because one minister is
how much were you spending on the
because one minister gets access to a V8, a saloon car, as well as other allowances, as well as other perks, travels, etc. That has been cut down to 60 ministers. Of course, for 4 years to be approved. And you are saying there's no savings.
In the government, but did you see the amount of money allocated to the office of the president?
No, we're not talking about money because you say that you want the minister to brief.
We are talking about
Please, let's put the discussion into perspective.
Okay, put it in perspective, yes.
So the perspective is, and I asked the question premise on that.
Yes.
Why even, let's say, we're forgetting about the other presidential staffers. We have 123 ministers. 60 ministers, 4 years to be approved. You are saying even with that number, there's no savings made.
I have not, because even with that number,
I didn't hear you.
I need to see the figures to demonstrate that there have been savings.
The salaries of ministers are set in accordance with Article 71 of his holders by the Emolument Committee. I'm surprised because you're not analyzing the issue based on the numbers. Based on my question too.
This is the point I'm making. The numbers alone do not tell the full story.
Okay.
The numbers alone do not tell the full story.
123 ministers and 60 ministers do not tell a story.
Alone do not tell the full story. I'm not saying they don't tell the story. I'm saying they do not tell the full story. You can have 165 ministers. And I'm saying that the best way to look at the full story is to look at last year's budget for that was sent in the Jubilee House for this and this year's budget. I'm saying that it is when you then look at that budget comparison, you then see how much has been budgeted for government machinery. Ministers are part of government machinery. And the amount of money you paid for them, it is. And I've just given you examples where if you now have that budget, if you're supposed to have a lean government, meanwhile the budget for the lean government in Jubilee House is higher than the budget for the 123 ministers that was in the other government, then it's problematic. And we're saying that from the current budget you're operating on, there are figures to show that yes, the budget that was sent to the Jubilee House is far higher than what was in the bloated government. So if you're not telling me that one is less than the other one, it doesn't add up because the figures definitely show that the cost of running the current government is far higher than the cost of running the previous government. That was what the finance minister said, and that was what is captured in the distance. That's the point I'm making. Those are facts. Secondly, it is strange to now say that e-levy was an obnoxious tax. Betting levy was an obnoxious tax. So let's remove them. However, D-levy, doomsday levy is not an obnoxious tax. It is strange to them make that argument because this e-levy was a tax that you can afford, you can choose to avoid. Betting tax was a choice, a tax that you can choose or avoid to reject. But this is a tax that you cannot. Right now, the two of us are from a farming community. Farmers are going to a farm. Farmers are buying fuel to farm. A tractor plowing is about 200 to 250 Ghana cedi right now to plow 1 acre. With the coming of the D-levy, we know that that is going to increase. Because the cost of buying fuel is going to... I'm saying the tractor, the cost of buying a tractor right now is 200 to 250 Ghana cedis. Between that range. If you are now... the cost of fuel is now going to increase by up to 10%.
Dr. Zato, what do you think, if you can recall, were the reasons assigned for the introduction of that tax e-levy?
Which tax? To raise the revenue for government.
Okay, so clearly, the minister says the reason why the 1 Ghana cedi or now reduced on the liter of fuel has been introduced is because we have debts in the energy sector, and those ones will have to be reduced within a certain period of time or within a certain number of financial years. That's the reason.
There's always a reason.
What's wrong with that?
Nobody imposes a tax for the fun of it. There's a reason for every tax. There was a reason for the betting tax and there was a reason for the e-levy. No finance minister wakes up and says, oh, I'm bored, let me impose a tax. There is always a reason for that. The question then is that, so it was to raise revenue. Betting tax was to raise revenue and also to either encourage or discourage the betting. But they were all considered what? Obnoxious taxes. They were considered nuisance taxes.
So this one is obnoxious.
The question I'm asking is that, if these taxes were selective, these are taxes you could avoid, these were taxes you could choose not to pay. If they were considered obnoxious, if they were considered irrelevant, if they were considered nuisance taxes, now you are imposing a tax that you cannot avoid, a tax that goes directly to the productive sector of this country.
Has that got to do with reduction in allowances for fuel?
It goes to, I'm just saying that it's a P argument. So you now come to say this, so that people will say, oh, okay, government appointees too are suffering, so if the cost of fuel is high, you are suffering, just let it go. So that to use it to try to what? Assuage the anger and outrage of Ghanaians over that, so that you're saying, okay, if now you cannot plow 3 acres of this because fuel is high, don't worry, ministers too do not have fuel. If now you are doing Okada business and your cost of rice...
Is that what they told you, or you are deducing? You are laughing.
I'm laughing because sometimes it looks like I'm in a witness box. I look like I'm a witness box.
If you want to come and host, then I'll be there. I'll like it. Because I'm here to ask questions. If you don't want me to ask you questions...
No, I'm answering your questions. I'm just saying that is the way, that is how it looks like. And now I'm saying that my analysis of this announcement, coincidentally, it came together. This announcement could have been done earlier. My saying that when you read my political leaves, I didn't see that, no, it is to say that the sister I was saying that dengam pussy. He knows what it means. Dengam pussy here means that you bite and you quickly what? Blow on it so that it doesn't pain. So the deng here, the biting here
so
is
this
the
is dengam pussy.
Dengam pussy.
Dengam pussy.
Deng means bite. Pussy means play. So you see how mothers sometimes they will slap you and they use another hand to bring you inside. The deng here, the biting here is the D-levy. To say, and it's going to pain. Now you are saying that, oh, by the way, don't worry, we will also let ministers pay. We also let deputy ministers pay. We also let the firm. You are trying to assuage that public anger, but it's not going to work. And I'm telling you, again, going back to the farmers, apart from the cost of fuel for tractor going up, you are also going to have the cost of what? Motor Kings going up. That is what is used to haul farm inputs to the farm and back. You are going to buy fuel this morning. All those going to buy fuel is going to increase. I'm saying that we are bringing a wicked tax to attack the productive aspect of this economy at this farming season. We are bringing a tax that will have a negative impact on the people that produce the food we eat at this season. And we are saying that we are bringing it, and the only thing we are now trying to do is try to assuage the public by bringing this fanciful thing. Tell me how much has been spent on government fuel from January up to now. And tell me how much you anticipate to do this, so that we can hold accountable. This thing, there's no way you can hold government accountable with this announcement. At the end of the year, how are we going to hold them accountable?
But you just said the finance minister should come to parliament and
exactly. So tell me, so the only way you could have done that is that...
You are self-indicting your own argument.
No, I'm not. I'm saying this announcement could have told us that, So far this year, we have spent, let's say, 500 Ghana cedis on these fuel coupons. We are going to remove it. When we remove it, we anticipate that by the end of the year, we will save 500 cedis. So that you and I, at the end of the year, we can now go and say, okay, when the government issued this statement, they promised to reduce fuel spending by this. Now we can hold them accountable. Now we cannot do that because now government has not told us how much these coupons are costing. They've not told us up to July. Now, at the end of December, how are we going to know how much it has cost?
Wrap up for me.
My point is that this is a very regressive tax. This tax will hit...
We're not talking about tax or the 1 CD or the less 1 CD tax.
My point is that this is shambolic.
We talk about allowances of government.
These allowances is not going to have the effect because it makes a point too. If you are a minister of state and then you say that you are going to do your work, that one day will give you fuel. We'll fill your car for you. And then, so I'm traveling all over the country to do my work. Wherever I go, I'm going to get fuel. When I come back home, the rest of the fuel there, what do I do with it? How do you monitor that? When I say that I'm going to Tamale to do my work, I'm actually doing the work. Because it's a government vehicle. How do we do that? I'm saying that sometimes the other problem we have is that we adopt what is called one size fits all problems to all the problems we have. We could have been specific. Again, if you wanted to put teeth to this, there are some ministries and some ministers who their work takes them all over the country. They would need fuel. There are some ministers and some ministers whose work is what only situated in Accra. You could have done that. Not to do that and just put this in there, it will have little or no effect.
And so public opinion is very important in introduction of policies, whether it's taxes or it's an initiative to cut down on expenditure. And we're talking in related matter of the allowances. Now, how the public and then the stakeholders react to a policy initiative should tell any government whether a policy has been thought through and well implemented or not. Specifically, in relation to whether it was e-levy or it's now going to be the CD on a liter of fuel. In relation to what the new announcement has been. In your own perspective and your observation, do you think the public is more acceptable of the initiatives, whether it's cutting down or even the introduction of the liter of fuels 1 cedi?
Roland, thank you very much. But let me deal quickly with certain matters that Zato has raised. I think Zato doesn't know me. And he has not been in politics for that long. That is my conclusion, especially within the MPP politics. Because he says I'm a stomach politician. Let me put it on record that I have never in my life, never taken a single government contract, be it NDC, MPP. I've never done so in my life. I have never worked in the office of Alan Chamati to even draw salaries. I have never in my life, and I'm putting all these things in perspective so that he understands the person he's dealing with.
Because of what he said?
Because of what he said.
You said you are running down the former president.
I have, and I'm coming there. The former president know about criticism. What is he talking about?
No, but he's a former president.
Oh, please,
And so what?
please.
You see, when you were talking,
No,
I
please.
just ignored it. Look.
Dr. Zato, when he was talking, you interjected the first time. No, please.
He does this to me all the time. And I always keep quiet. You know that. Even when
Dr. Zato, when you were talking, he didn't say anything. So let's say we're starting from that note, Dr. Zato.
Today, okay.
The way you're giggling, it sounds as if that, you're disrespecting his arguments, etc. Because people are watching us,
not comfortable with it,
and they expect us that we'll be decorous in how we moderate and then also raise the argument based on the discussions. So do I have your buy-in, Dr.
Yes,
Zato?
go ahead.
Great.
So the truth of the matter is that I have not enjoyed it. In any case, his understanding of politics is suspect. It's warped logic that you go into government to enjoy. I believe that it's a service. You go into public service to serve the people of this country, not to plunder state resources. So if it's the mindset that he intends to go into public services, then I'm sorry he's eager to enter into a very wrong arena of business that you go and enjoy. That Alan Chamanti went into politics to go and enjoy what? Look, before I leave him, Alan was working with the UN before he became the president of the land.
His argument is that he was a minister and you never raised any of those ones.
But Alan, that was part of those that founded the MPP and brought the party to power. What was he expecting? Beyond that, he was more competent than any of the ministers that was appointed, including the very person you support, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You understand? I mean, if I were the president and I was appointing ministers, Mahmoud Bawumia would not even be appointed as a minister because he lacked that capacity to be a minister. So what are you talking about that Alan was made a minister? In your own region, Upper West, let me tell you your history. In the year 2000, you were not even doing NPP politics. I had to sacrifice my university education. From Kenya University, I bought Audu Isaka. That time there was a bus called Audu Isaka. By the time I could say Jack, I was in Sobayiri, a polling station in the Jirapa-Lambusie district, just to go and make sure that minors that were voting in the Jirapa-Lambusie district in the Sobayiri were denied the opportunity of voting for President Kufuor, the candidate Kufuor, to become president. I did that because I thought he could become a good president and by virtue of that also manage the party well. Let me say, the pronouncement by President Kufuor that he has been sidelined, I do not sympathize with him any given day because he sat down unconcerned when it was happening to young ones within the party, people that entrusted him.
Dr. Zaso said, don't say that.
But that's what I've just explained to you that he doesn't, I don't think he knows even the MPP that he's in. I've just given him history.
What I'm saying,
you know how, wait, my friend, you keep quiet and we deal with matters here.
No, gentlemen, please.
When you are talking up here, why do you want to turn this thing into a...
So wrap up on this one.
To me.
Please, okay. No,
why today, why did you pass?
The two of you are gentlemen.
Whenever he did that,
please.
Today, I don't want to.
Please, okay. Zato's rival, please, make sure that
but why from this Zato business?
You wrap up on this, and then let's get on to my question.
So the truth of the matter is that he kept quiet when more grievous things were happening to party faithfuls.
That's the former president.
The former president.
He says it's not fair. He's a statesman. He shouldn't say that.
Well, am I not a statesman? We are paying people. You see, this business of classifying people, that's why people go about misbehaving in this country. You are a statesman. Everyone here is a statesman. Because the sovereignty of this country resides in you. Without you, there is nothing called a state. So what is he talking about? And I keep saying that if he has spoken in the past, I'm not sure the party, Nana Akufo-Addo's gang, would have had the opportunity to destroy it. So he has no business whatsoever speaking today. That is the point I'm making. So where from this influence? This business of trying to court hatred, I don't give a hoot about it. Well, so longer is the truth. You say you are a Commonwealth guy. You don't even believe in the truth. Truth must stand at all times.
But that is the truth. I'm talking to
you have never spoken any truth here. Now coming back to the matter.
Please.
Coming back, look, most of the people that eulogize today, I was feeding them in opposition.
No, please,
what are you talking about?
No.
Let them come out. Let any single person.
The two of you. Please. Go ahead on my question.
So the question here really is that, once again, you say organization and strategy defines everything. Listening to Samia Uku and listening to Zato here, it tells you how the party has degenerated.
I don't understand.
There is no strategy. First of all, this was a campaign promise that was President Mahama, then a candidate, gave this promise when he was in opposition. I think it was somewhere in May, that given the opportunity, he will scrap, the fuel allowance. You also agree with me that we are with the IMF. And with the IMF, we are supposed to observe austerity. And most often, when we want to cut down or embark on austerity, we tend to look at the revenue side. And here I'm talking about increasing taxes here and there. Now you have a government that is saying that, look, instead of going back to the people and increasing taxes, this time I'm going to decrease or reduce expenditure. And by expenditure, scrap fuel that my appointees are going to use. I was thinking that as a strategic opposition party, you would rather say, yes, we agree with you, because that is all that all of us have been yearning for. Indeed, your own government in somewhere 2023, 2024 came out and said that they were reducing fuel coupons by 50%. In fact, it was captured in the budget. So why do you think they came out with that? So I was thinking they would say, okay, we agree with the president, but what we are waiting for is to see the implementation, the outcome of it. In one breath, Samia Ukuda spoke said they must bring clarity to it. In another breath, he said settings. So what sort of human being is that? Here in this studio, Zato, who is claiming that he wants to see the minister make statements about it, is also drawing conclusions that it's not feasible. So how do I take this matter serious?
Well, he said that per the announcement, it should have come with the numbers in terms of cost savings.
So that is what you must ask for. Look, after elections, there is a nation to run. There's a government, there's a country to run. This infantile politicking doesn't work. Ask the necessary questions.
That's the politicking?
No, it's politicking and it's not even doing it properly. Ask the government to come out clearly that how many appointees are involved. What is the volume of fuel we are talking about? How much do we intend to save? You wait for the answers. If the answers are not convincing, or you wait for the period, then you go back to the people of this country. If they were not able to deliver on this promise, then you go back to them and say that here was the president who announced that he was scrapping fuel allowances at the end of his tenure. There is nothing to show for it. So Ghanaians, he is not a truthful. He wasn't a truthful president. His party wasn't truthful. So vote against.
So you're saying that just doing Shegum Potogum.
Shegum Potogum. You come here, you are in a hurry to just wish them bad. If we don't do that, if this administration fails, it is you and I who have failed.
Well, they are the opposition.
What opposition? You have to be responsible opposition. They are the reason why we are coming up with a party, because if this is how opposition party members behave, that this country is not going to be a laughing stock.
Well, they're supposed to criticize and put the government on its toes.
Constructive criticism. What is so constructive about how she has done? When the policy itself has not taken off, you are saying that it's going to fail without showing us how it's going to fail. How does it work like that? So clearly, and you know, when we were going into election 2024, all of us as a country said the way and manner governments were spending wasn't in the best form of shape. So the government has taken that initiative. Now he is going ahead. I would wish, as a matter of fact, that to further deepen this policy and also bring clarity and reduce government expenditure, be it on fuel and even vehicles, I believe that we must look at the options of beginning to lease vehicles to government appointees. Look, I am into transport business, and I know how much we spend on maintenance alone. If as a private person that will observe all the austerity to maintain my vehicle, I'm telling you that it's so high to maintain a vehicle. How much more government that we have this mantra that government business. So if everybody is in the government business, something that will cost 1,000 cedis to maintain a vehicle, if they are going to do it in the open, they will spend more than 10,000. So I believe that appointees, if a minister is traveling out of Accra, there is a company. Those companies have to be provided by the national security in terms of security, so that their lives are not put at risk. If you are going to Tamale, you know the rate that you are paying. There, you cannot come and say, you cannot come and inflate the figures. Again, the issue of maintenance is the cost of the private sector man. He will deal with his issues. Then, within the city of Accra, I mean, Roland, why is it that ministers and government appointees must be using SUVs within Accra? To do what?
You think that should be banned?
It should be banned. Saloon vehicles. And it must also cause the administration to develop or build the public sector transport system. You travel around the world, most of the places, appointees of government and ministers, they sit in public transport. What is different between them and us?
I don't understand. You mean the minister should go and sit in
some even ride, of course. That is what all of us are enjoying.
Metromas.
So if you improve it,
minister,
what tomorrow if you are not a minister, don't you become an ordinary as me? So that's how it's supposed to be. So that once we are building this country, let everyone be involved. Don't let us create this class system. It is that denies the citizens of the right development. Are you with me? If you are giving ministers and appointees four-wheel drive, what would be the agency of them fixing our roads? Because they are in four-wheel drives. Have you used the Accra Kumasi roads recently?
Terrible.
Terrible. So if the person is in a four-wheel drive SUV and feeling comfortable in that condition, when he's going, there is a motorcade in front of him, we give him the space to move. Would he think about fixing the road? But if all of us are involved in the public transport system, then he will see the need to be developing the country, developing our road sector, developing our hospital infrastructure, the schools, and so on and so forth.
So for you, the policy is good, but then you are also preferring recommendations.
Recommendation, and then must also bring clarity to it, which area, so that when we see, we must all police it.
Okay.
You understand? For instance, what is the role that Goyle is going to play? The policy he said immediate. So I am expecting Goyle to also come out with a statement to tell us that from henceforth, maybe appointees, all your coupons that you already have, or all the depots that you draw fuels are curtailed. Then we move on. But rather than right from the beginning saying that it's a bad thing, it's not going to succeed, what sort of naysayers are these?
But they are the opposition.
Am I not in opposition? We are both in opposition, but he's not being a responsible opposition.
All right. So, Mr. Suparu.
But why don't
Suparu,
you...
No, please. Mr. Suparu, just in 3 minutes so that we can summarize and go to the next one. So in 3 minutes, just tell us when we're going to have this fully implemented, or have you been told when this will be fully implemented?
So just as we all saw the communication, I haven't taken over my office, so I wouldn't be able.
No, I'm not asking you as a minister deputy. No, I'm asking you.
So once the letter is out, it means that it's immediate. So it started. It started. So, but give me the opportunity. Let me just respond to.
You have 3 minutes.
Yes, to respond to some issue raised by my good brother, Dr. Zato. He says that we've not been able to communicate to the public about how much you have been saved. You know, a government, and for that matter, expenditure is a process. And so we have presented a budget to the people of this country, and it was approved by Parliament. And so government is in the process of, you know, appropriating that particular budget. So until we are done, but at the end of every year, or at the end of, I think somewhere next week, the finance minister will be coming to Parliament to present the mid-year budget. And I believe that some of these things will be captured, at least to tell the people of Ghana from January to June how much that has been expanded and so on. And so, my brother, for the figure, relax. At the right time, you will be told the figure. But I just want him to know that when you talk about reducing budget, I saw how he was trying to...
He says other appointees at the presidency...
When you asked him a question about 60 as compared to 124 or 123, the budget allocated to the 123 ministers can certainly not be same as 60 ministers. This, he shouldn't wait for us to present the figure before he should know that that is exactly what it means. Because certainly, if a minister is entitled to an official 4x4 vehicle, a saloon, and other things, his auxiliary, the ordinary staffs around him, the expenditure within the ministry, certainly, the number of ministers, once the number of ministers have reduced from 123 to 60, the same way the cost will also reduce. So he shouldn't wait for the finance minister to come and tell him that this is the amount that has been expanded. And he again said that the amount allocated to government machinery is way, way bigger than or more than the previous. You know, Roland, this is what happened. Before the budget was presented to Parliament, some ministries that were scrapped were not, at the time the budget was being presented, at that time, those ministries were not realigned. For instance, National Ministry of National Security was scrapped. Before the budget was presented, Ministry of National Security was part of government machinery. So the budget of Ministry of National Security certainly would be part of government machinery. It was after the budget that President then came out to say that national security is now under Ministry of Interior. National Identification Authority, before budget was presented, was also part of government machinery. That of Ministry of, Information, the scrap Ministry of Information, that is now Ministry of Government Communications. All of them are. So if you are comparing those figures and you want to tell us that government says he wants to reduce, cost, and why is it that this amount of money has been allocated to government, you must consider, you must take into consideration all of these factors. If you do not do this and just want to look at the figure allocated to government machinery to say that government says it will not spend a lot of money, why is he allocating this amount of money? Meanwhile, you refuse to add the factors that are contributing to this particular figure. This one, I just want my brother to know that these were the reasons why he saw that figure that he's talking about. And that did not mean that, when you talk about, that did not mean that government is not cutting expenditure. Government has even gone further to say that even Christmas, no hamper, all of these things, you may see it to be something insignificant, but if you put them together, it huge sums of money that when you take it to my constituency, Salawest, you can actually procure a lot of mono decks for the school children to get decks to sit on it. Government, again, says that, the president portrait pictures. In the past, they used to, print it in bulk. And it was a contract given to somebody to print it. In the former government regime, when I say his government, you say he wasn't an appointee. But when MPP was in power, that's how it used to be. They would award a contract to somebody to just design His Excellency, the President, portrait
put together
picture.
the frames.
A frame for every public officer to hang it. Now the President said, no, we are not going to do that. Every particular agency, if you want my portrait, my picture to frame to be in your office, Please do it yourself.
No centralized procurement
nothing
on that.
It wasn't coming from the budget. So all of these things that we're talking about are ways and means to cut down the expenditure so that the limited resources that we have, we can put it to addressing the challenges that we are confronted with as a country. And so, bro, just relax. This year alone, we've seen that government, the money that used to go to district assemblies, it used to not to be. Today, government is talking about giving them 80% of their allocations. And for me, when that goes to my constituency, the burden on the MP to pay my fees, MP come and build schools here, at least we will have infrastructure projects going on in every district. So government today, as a result of some of these policies, we have been able to release about, for the past 7 months, release about 600 million Ghana cedis to the senior high schools to procure food items to feed the students. These are things that in the past, you used to see them complaining, even the food, the quality of the food. Today, you are not hearing that. Today, we are talking about sanitary pad. Because of some of these initiatives, government is able to get money, about 200 and something, is it 250? I'm not sure of the figure, but it's about 200 and something million Ghana cedis to procure free sanitary pad just to support the ordinary girls in the basic schools. So, bro, these are the policies that we're talking about. When you cut down the expenditure at the government appointees level, you will be able to get enough money to enable you to focus on the ordinary person so that people in this country can actually, to feel that indeed they have a government who really cares about them. So this is what we are talking about. Okay. Yes, of course, I understand you that you are trying to find fault for the government. But in your way of doing it, please, sometimes try to appreciate government when we are getting things right. We are not saying don't criticize.
What do you mean by he's finding fault? He's trying to critique government policy.
Anyway, so critique is okay. The problem I didn't use the right word. He's trying to critique government. But do it in a manner that people of this country will appreciate that, yes. But don't just try to say that anything that we are engaged it is propaganda. Anything that we are engaged is PR games. No, when you do this, you are not doing your
observations and expectations for the implementation of this in 3 minutes, uninterrupted. I promise.
I cannot talk. I cannot respond.
Because you brought.
So I'll just leave it.
People come from the same traditional.
You can respond to me.
No. I won't do that. I won't do that. What I'm saying is the stealth effect. That this announcement is a shambolic attempt to try to dissuade people or to dissuade Ghanaians from focusing on what is actually happening today, which is this almost 9 to 10% increase in fuel prices. It's a symbolic attempt. If you've not told us how much you've already saved or how much will be saved on this, if you've not told us how much you've already spent and how much you'll be saving, if you've not given us mechanisms to hold you accountable for this statement, there's no way we're going to be able to do that. Again, just the fact that you have reduced the number of ministers from maybe 100 or 150 to 60 does not necessarily translate into a reduction in government expenditure. It does not necessarily do that. There are other things. You can move the expenditure to other places, and those other places will do. So at the end of the day, I'm waiting for the final, the mid-year review to come and then tell us how much you've actually saved on that. But the mere movement, the mere reduction in those numbers alone, because what we've seen is that you reduce the numbers from the ministry and then you move them to other places. You remove them here, you move them to places. That restructuring has cost. And that cost is also part of government, the cost of running government machinery. So unless we do the account, unless we add the numbers, you cannot just say, just because I've reduced the number of ministers of distance, it has resulted in cost. That it doesn't necessarily happen. This increase in the price is going to affect the so-called ordinary man on the street more than it will affect any minister of state, more than it will affect any government appointee. It's going to do that. Ordinary people that are in the Okada business, ordinary people that are ordinary farmers who are going to the farm to plow, ordinary people who use the motorking for their businesses, ordinary Ghanaians who are taking trotro, ordinary Ghanaians who are taking taxi, ordinary, they are going to see an increase in their transportation costs from this month on. They are going to see an increase that is probably unbearable. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies have told us that the price will increase. Consumers have told us it will increase. And all this attempt to now try to assuage it is not working and it's not in our interest. I believe that a guy, if you say that e-levy was a nuisance tax, if you say betting tax was a nuisance tax, and then you go and add the biggest of nuisance tax, you are being disingenuous with Ghanaians. And that is not fair.
Your advice to government? 3 minutes.
Advice,
if you take 2 minutes, I'll even like it.
It's very simple. They have come up with a policy proposal. I mean, a statement and a policy they intend to implement. I would wish that they come back again to give us the areas and the numbers that are involved and what we must be looking out for at the end of the program, so that all of us will be on the same page. I believe that if it is implemented well, it will help all of us. We don't have to spend too much on fuel. Some of the appointees, the way and manner they utilize our fuel is nothing to write home about. So it's something that is the Ghanaians are expecting from this administration. And once they have announced it, some of us will follow it through and see whether indeed it has been implemented.
Well, there's been just, now we know that it's all over social media as well, and then also 3 News, we also intercepted the letters as well. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General having written to Yoko, more importantly, to take a concise decision to investigate a number of individuals, i.e. the national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, as well as another officer of the party, a vice chair. And the question then will be, is that the new way to fight galamsey, Mr. Ashuparu? You've seen the letter, haven't you?
Yeah, I have not seen it, but on my way here,
you heard it on stations?
I heard it on some sister stations.
So Dominic Ayini.
So I think this is what we're talking about, the reset agenda.
How?
When you are going after others as a government in your quest to fight against illegalities, it shouldn't be limited to only persons that are not within your political party. And so for me, this is a good news to us as a country, that in itself tells the people of this country that His Excellency, the President, actually, when he says he wants to fight illegalities, he actually meant his word. And so if he can ask Yoko to investigate his national second vice chairman and then the organizer, it tells you that the man means business for us. And so we need to support him. What I always say is that we must support him as a country to succeed. When he succeeds, Ghana will be in a better position, and all of us will benefit from it. Because the forests and the rivers that have been destroyed by these illegal miners, it does not know the water that they are destroying. The river doesn't know the MPP, NDC, PNC, or the movement for change. It is all of us. If they are polluting the environment, we all live in the same environment. And so if government says that we must protect our environment, it shouldn't be only persons who are not in government or who are not in our political party. It must be everybody, including persons in government. And for me, and that alone will serve as a deterrent to other people who probably might be considering to do that. If government can sanction Yoko to investigate the allegations.
And this one was even not made public.
Yes. It's made, the letter is public.
Yeah, now, yes.
The letter is public, so it's public. Once there is a communication from the AG to Yoko, it is public. Because that letter certainly must travel from AG to Yoko. And so it's public. And so for me, it tells me that the country is working. Ghana we want. We are witnessing the Ghana we are all looking for. Unlike in the past, we've heard all kinds of allegations. When somebody raised allegations or somebody raised an alarm about an illegality happening somewhere, those days, what you would hear is that when a press conference is held or a president gets opportunity to speak, when he mounted a podium to speak, all what you hear from our former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, when he was in government, would say that these are naysayers. I'm quoting him. He used to, in fact, I actually got the word from him. Naysayers, persons who wish him, like who doesn't wish him well. And that these are mere speculations. These are mere allegations. And for me, when there's an allegation, there must be an investigation to see whether or not there are facts in those allegations leveled against the person. And so for me, this is the best way to go. The fact that they are national officers, the fact that they belong to the party, the fact that they are bigwigs of NDC doesn't mean that when allegations are being brought against them, they should not be investigated. And so for me, this is the Ghana we said. This is the campaign we told the people of this country that let's vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for the Ghana we want. And we are witnessing it. So this is what we call the reset agenda. So the man is resetting this country. That is how come we are able to see it. Who dare you then?
Who dare who?
Who dare you and I, to even raise an allegation against any appointee of the former president or any party person of the former president? If you do, then what you would do was to come and tell you that you are a naysayer, you are somebody who is only, leveling